Welcome to Behind the Muscle podcast. Today's guest is the president and CEO of Made to Macros. Today's guest is Alexis Urso. Alexis, welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk with you today.
For sure. No, I'm excited to chop it up with you. I see that you actually I came across Made to Macros through Nick Walker's content on Instagram and YouTube. So I'm super excited to have an entrepreneur on here to discuss kind of how you got your start. Before we kind of jump into all of that, I do like to ask all my guests a couple questions just to kind of kickstart the conversation. So the first one, Alexis, who are a few of your favorite bodybuilders or fitness athletes of all time?
Sure. So what got me started actually was, when I was working at GNC, I was always getting the magazines and the little cardboard cutouts, coming in. And I really just fell in love with Erin's physique, she's still competing today. She's now a bikini competitor instead of figure, but she's gorgeous. And she's actually going to the Olympia, and she trains out of my home gym at in my 40 here in Tampa. So it's so cool how it's like coming back. And now I'm in the industry, feeding these guys, and I get to see them all the time. And then as far as another female was Ava Cowan, and she also competes. Those are the two females that I really, really loved. And then of course, you have your Jay Cutlers, of course, that are just epic. So,
now
those are probably the top ones that I would say.
You cut out when you mentioned the first individual's name. So who is the first individual that you named?
Erin Stern.
Erin Stern. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure we got that so all the listeners could hear that.
Yeah.
So at what age, the second question here, at what age did you start lifting weights, or did you get involved in fitness, and kind of what was the reasoning or the why behind that?
Sure. So I was a cheerleader since I was 7, 8 years old. So I've always kind of been an athlete, dancing, gymnastics, the cheerleading side. I played, softball, baseball for a while too. But as far as I really started getting into lifting was with, being a cheerleader in high school. We had a weight room there. That was really, really, really awesome to have actually on our high school campus. Not a lot of high schools had that back then. So we were working out there, and I just kind of continued into doing that.
Excellent. All right. So let's, I want to touch on your childhood, a little bit of your younger backstory. So where did you grow up, Alexis? You already mentioned some sports, specifically cheerleading. I'm assuming that kind of took up most of your time, but just touch on that childhood a little bit, if you don't mind.
Sure. I grew up in Tampa, Florida. I'm still here now. I am a 4th generation native, which is really hard to come by, but I'm here, 4th generation native. And my childhood was awesome. My dad was a firefighter. My mom, worked an 8 to 5 job. And, I had a really, really awesome, childhood. We grew up around great food. I had a huge family down here, and lots of cousins and aunts and uncles. And we're super, super close and very, very blessed. So, yeah.
So you started cheerleading pretty young. Was that something that your parents just kind of pushed you into, or just maybe thought that you would be good at, or what was
it's actually about? Yeah. So later on in life, obviously they were not going to tell me this as a 7 or 8 year old. They were, I did not grow up with the best eating habits. We're Cuban and Sicilian. And then my mom is super Southern. So we had shit eating habits. So they got me into that because I was gaining weight. I was a chunky kid. So they threw me into sports, and that's kind of what counteracted and balanced out my health and nutrition that I was lacking. So they got me into cheerleading, and that's how I lost all that baby fat.
Now, just because I've done a lot of podcasts, not just with this podcast. I also have another podcast and had a lot of conversation with people. I own a gym and huge into fitness and all that myself. A lot of times when it comes to dance and cheerleading, there can be some unhealthy eating habits that are developed. Is that something that maybe did the pendulum swing from one end for you to the opposite, or was it kind of all healthy and good for you on that end?
So I struggled with a little bit of that. I guess you would say in my high school days, I was nonstop, till like 9 p.m. at night, Monday through Friday, games on Friday, cheerleading competitions on the weekends, another practice on Sunday, and I would repeat it again on Monday. So I was like robot. My health and nutrition suffered a lot then. And then, you're worried about your body image. So I did develop a lot of unhealthy eating habits, what you were saying before. I would get to the point where a couple times I had to go get IVs. I kind of make myself get sick because I'm a worrier, have a lot of anxiety as it is. So yeah, that really caused a lot of stress. So yes, they're there. And it did play a huge role in, how I feel now about my health and nutrition for sure. And I still have those battles, internally with certain foods and certain ways that I think as far as how I should look. So yeah, those are things that I continue to struggle with for sure.
And I know it's different for everybody, but however comfortable you are or how much you want to talk about that, we don't have to get too much in detail, but just now as a obviously an adult, a mother, a business owner, like how do you, and I want you to share and touch on this just because I know
Sure.
people are going to listen and going to be able to relate. Even myself as a grown man, I still struggle with different eating things. I think that's a huge thing within the fitness industry, within bodybuilding, obviously, but how do you as an adult kind of work through some of that stuff that maybe you've dealt with since those earlier years?
Oh man, that's a good one. Sometimes I just don't deal with it because I just keep myself very, very active. I have my routine that I do the day. I never miss a workout. That's like my joy. I love, getting to the gym and just hitting the weights, doing my cardio. I still feel that a lot of times if I make a bad choice and when I'm eating, I'll automatically think I need to go do cardio. And I will. There's some nights where I'm like, shit, what did I eat today? Was I supposed to eat that? Sometimes if I'm in the kitchen, I'll graze and I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. And I'll end up on the Stairmaster again at like 8:00 at night. And it's something that I need to stop. And I know that's the opposite of what you're supposed to do, but it's just kind of set in my ways that sports or something athletic is going to take away from the bad food that I put in my mouth that day. So I feel that I still struggle with that too a lot. I did it a couple times this week. So yeah.
I appreciate you touching on that because I know some of that stuff can be kind of hard to talk about. Now, one more thing kind of pertaining to that, and then we'll move on. But do you find it now that you're in the food industry, you're around food all the time? Does that kind of magnify some of those struggles for you, or are you at the point now where you can kind of just, you just do what you got to do?
No. I'm around really good food all the time. I don't think it's like, if I was in a bakery, that would probably be different. If I had to work in the Publix bakery, you'd have to like put me in a wheelchair and wheel me around. There's no way I wouldn't be 400 pounds easy. But yeah, I don't think that being around the food is going to make it worse. No, that's not how I feel.
Yep. Cool.
I just kind of ride through my day.
Yeah. And like you said, kind of keep
it's work, right?
Yeah. Just, keep yourself busy, and that kind of keeps your mind off of some of that stuff. I kind of find that to be helpful in my own personal life. But okay. So cheerleading, sports in high school. What did post high school look like, the first few years for you?
Sure. I went to the University of South Florida here in Tampa, and I joined a sorority, Sigma Delta Tau. Met my best friend there. We're still best friends. We have a close group of girls, and we just love each other so much. Continued through there, worked a lot during college too. Worked at Hooters. I worked at GNC. That kind of got me through college. I started my degree in chemistry, where I wanted to go into forensics, and I transitioned out of there because of my love for public speaking. I thought I would be a really good teacher. So I switched over to the College of Education, got my degree in education, and I was a teacher for like 7 years. And then I said, this is not going to do. And I had been in the health and fitness industry, obviously, from GNC and competing and stuff like that, training throughout high school and going into college, and had my first daughter, my daughter, and kind of struggled with the weight again there. Your body totally changes after you have a baby, and your hormones are jacked up, and something had to, change. So food. I started prepping to my macros and saw really great results. And I said, I wish somebody would just do this for me. Here I am.
Okay. Before we dive completely into that, I want to touch on a couple things in terms of college and teaching. I'm also still currently a certified PE teacher in the state of Colorado, where I lived before I moved back to Iowa. But so I've had a little bit of teaching experience. Now, the public speaking thing, I don't know if I've ever had anybody in a conversation say I felt like I was really good at public speaking. How did you kind of come about that, or where was that realization birthed?
Sure. So as a cheerleader and dancer, you're always a performer, right? You're in front of a crowd, you're performing. Sure, you get a little butterfly, nervous kind of deal. But I don't know, for some reason, when I'm in front of people, there it goes. And I just can't, it's just really good. I don't know what it is. My dad is a very, very good public speaker. And he did it for a long time, for the Tampa Fire Department. He was an arson investigator, so he had to go on the news sometimes and do, press conferences and this and that. And I think I enjoy that because of him as well. But yeah, I went and took a course in college on public speaking, and they're like, why are you in this class? And they still actually use my tapes from that course in their new courses. So that's kind of cool. But it just comes naturally, I guess. I like doing it. I like being in front of a crowd, and yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so the teaching thing, 7 years, that's a good chunk of time to be a teacher. What grade and what subject? And then what are a couple takeaways from those 7 years in education that you feel like are just kind of like good takeaways for life in general, or where you're at presently?
Sure. I taught kindergarten. They're adorable. Much more respect for the teaching industry, obviously. They put up with a lot. So now that my daughter's in kindergarten, she just started kindergarten a few weeks ago. So much more respect for teachers, because I was one. They are highly underpaid, and they do a lot. A takeaway for me is these teachers are mom to some kids. I was buying socks and underwear for some kids. Sometimes I gave them baths. It was rough, but yeah, I feel like teachers are very underappreciated, underpaid, and God bless. They are champs, the true champs.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot more respect now for teachers after I was a teacher for a short time. So um, kudos to you for going through that experience. Now, super, like I said earlier, fascinated about, made to macros and kind of launching that. So you said you kind of went through the weight struggle again after you had your first child. And
Mhm.
then you're like, man, I wish somebody would I wish I had somebody to prep this food for me and do the food thing for me. Then you kind of did it yourself. So how did the actual business come to be?
Yeah, it was summer break, and I was about to transition into second grade, actually, co-teaching position with one of my really good friends. And I said, we were prepping and stuff like that, our food and everything like that. And I was like, I wish somebody would, just do this for me. There's no meal prep services out there that are personalized, that actually will hone into your own goals and your own macros, because everybody's so different. And get those meals prepped for me. I can't just eat this much. Like, that's not going to work for me. I need to eat, a different size portion. So I actually talked with one of my best friends and my godmother, and they're like, you should totally open up your own business. So I thought of, a name. I thought of what I would do, and Made to Macro came about. It was like one of my second names I thought of, and it just clicked. So Made to Macro was born. And then that whole summer I worked on some things, some programs to make it a little bit easier to meal prep to your macros. Obviously I was the guinea pig. So continued there, got my logos designed and made, which is really cool. I love my logo. And July, I think 10th, which was a couple weeks before school was back in session, my principal was not happy that I was not returning. But July 10th, I had my first promo at a UFIT here in South Tampa. And I got like 3 or 4 clients my first night. So that was really, really exciting. So
Now, before you go any further, July 10th of this year?
2017.
2017. Okay. I was going to say,
Yeah.
wow. I'm like,
No. I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry.
You're okay. No,
Yeah,
that's
2017 is when I quit teaching and Made to Macro was born.
Okay. So I want to get into a little bit of the nuts and bolts. So you decide you're going to kind of pursue this the summer, that one summer, 2017. What you mentioned the logos and the name and all that stuff, but how did you actually? What's the practical of going from idea, designing the logo, the name? That's kind of basic, simple stuff, right? To actually launching. Like, how did you go from point A to point Z?
So I kind of just threw myself into it. Like, when I got those orders that came in, my website was all set up, ready to go. Order came in. I was like, oh no, now I actually have to do something. I have to cook this. I have to wait it out. Oh my God. What if they don't know their macros? And it was my first week, it was a complete panic attack. All week, complete panic. Every day, multiple times. And we killed it. So it was fine, obviously. And every week, I got a little bit more. People would come and go, kept growing and growing. Referral is always going to be my favorite way to gain clients, because that means somebody was happy enough with my service that they were going to recommend me. So I still, am very much referral based, and that's how it kind of grew over time. Now I was cooking in my house at the time, and now I have, a full kitchen with 12 employees, delivery drivers, prep ladies, packagers. I have people who are portioning, cooks, and we all kind of work together and rock it out each week.
Okay. So, starting it off in your own kitchen, like, is there, and I'm asking because, and I initially reached out to you, the truth is, because I actually, when I sent you a DM, I said, I would like to talk to you about some business things as well, because I live in a very small town in Iowa. And I mean, there's nothing like this, kind of like what you said. You talked about, like, there's nothing like in terms of personalized. I'm talking about, like, there's nothing like meal prep whatsoever anywhere in the area. And as a gym owner with clients, it's like nutrition is the number one, you know, shortcoming of clients to get the results. So I'm thinking, how can I serve my clients better? How can I make more money? And do this nutrition wise. And I really feel like it's going to be through the meal prep. So some of these questions are kind of for myself, but obviously the listeners and the viewers are going to gain some insight too. Now, in terms of starting in your kitchen, what's like the legality of prepping food and then like selling it? Like, is there something that, you know, you need to be careful of in terms of that? What does that look like?
Yeah, you should not cook out of your own kitchen.
Okay. Okay.
It's a big no.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. So what would you suggest for people like myself that are thinking about doing something like this?
I would find a commissary, maybe a shared kitchen space or a restaurant that's already in functioning as a restaurant. Maybe they close, you know, after lunch at like 2 or 3, and you can use it the rest of the night. You know, you need to go get those certifications. You have to get, you know, licensed. You have to have, get certified. I have a catering license, and then you have to get inspected. So you'll get inspected as well. That'll happen a few times during the year, especially I think your first year you have more, just to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. But yeah, they do have a law called cottage law. I spoke about this in my last podcast, but that's where if you're making like baked goods or something at home that you're not going to really sell, like ship it off and, you know, maybe sell it like I said, a flea market or something like that, where you're not taking cash, like, or credit card payments, so, you know, over the internet, you can definitely do that still out of your own home.
Cool. Very good. Very good.
But for you could just wholesale from me if you want, and then just have a fridge loaded with meat to macro in there.
Yeah, well, we're gonna
ship to
Iowa.
Iowa.
I want to talk to you about some business stuff. Like I said, when I
love it.
Reach out to you. So
about the business.
I love it too, and I'm excited because like I said, I just nutrition is in terms of health and longevity and body transformation. Nutrition is 90% of it, and if we can help people eat better, we're gonna help people live better. So
right, because you could the gym is the fun part. You know, that's the fun part, you know, going in there. Well, fun for me to go home and purposely make, you know, chicken and rice and whatever vegetable, or maybe no rice that day because it's a low day. It's not fun. I want like a Philly cheesesteak, you know? Yeah,
that sounds good. All right. So the business started taking off. Was it pretty quick within this adventure or venture, however you want to word that? Was it pretty quick that you realized like, hey, this is going to be something, and I'm going to be like, okay, in terms of financially and career wise, or did it take you a little time to get to that point?
It took a little time. Had a couple more meltdowns in there. It's still a struggle sometimes, as far as not financially, just like, you know, mentally. Sometimes you're like, because, you know, I'm jack of all trades over here on this end, but yeah, I just feel like as a business owner, I feel like you're always going to have that, because that's your baby. That's something that you did. You want to see it grow. You don't want to see it fail. You don't want to see, you know, going through hiccups, but yeah, definitely, you know, it took its time, you know, to grow, which was kind of a blessing, because I've been able to kind of, you know, dodge things a little bit easier that come my way. When I get too many, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, because our turnover rate for meals it's so quick, you know, 2 to 3 days of meal prep and then it's done. So I only have employees really for 2 or 3 days a week. And then they're getting shipped off or delivered. So everything moves very, very quickly. However, I'm like 24/7 miss macros over here.
Okay. So, how do, so people like order through, just like the internet? How do people order? And then you said you have like 2 to 3 days of prep and then things are going out. So what does like the typical week for you, Alexis, look like business wise? We're not really going to get into the personal stuff yet. I want to get into your being a mom and all that, but what does that business schedule look like each week in terms of, Made to Macros?
Yeah, so we take orders up until Monday. And sometimes if stragglers come in like Tuesday morning, I'll throw them in there. I take orders up until Monday. Typically by then I've known who is going to be ordering or who isn't going to be ordering that week. But we are subscription based, so that's nice because I know, hey, this guy is going to get food every week until he tells me no. So I can just incorporate his macros into each week. I start my meal planning. Our menu changes every week. Some people's diets stay the same, some don't, depending on if they're maybe a competitor or not, or maybe they're just a lifestyle client. So I have actually different Excels that I have in place. I have a shipped one that I know all these clients are going to get shipped out of state or in state, whatever it is. And then I have another one that is just dedicated to all my local clients here in the Tampa Bay area. And then I have my competitors, and those are going to have, your Nick Walkers, your Alyssa Keislings, your Terrence Ruffins, your Lauren Dannemillers, all these like amazing people and all these people who, are on super strict plans, and this is what they get, and you're not straying from it. We're not tweaking it. This is what they're going to get until they send me their new plan. So that's what I do Monday and Tuesday throughout the weekend. I do have another person trained on that as well, and she's helping me a lot. She does more of the lifestyle clients, meal planning over the weekend, which gives us a little bit more of a head start. That way I can start ordering my food a little bit sooner and shopping fresh. If I have to go to the markets to get stuff, like I like getting my seafood, I like to see it, that's just me personally. The meats and the chickens, I know exactly where they come from, and then all of our sides, and then our ladies start prepping that on, we got Wednesday and Thursday, or we're chopping potatoes and we're cooking things and making our pots of rice and grilling our chicken. And then we're packaging Thursday, Friday, and making sure it's shipped out on time. Everything gets shipped out on Friday. Local deliveries happen on Saturday morning. And then I have Sunday, which is like my day to myself, but it's usually me on my phone answering clients or something, which is great. It is what it is. But yeah, then we repeat it. So, and then throwing promos in there. Like I leave tomorrow morning for Columbus for, the Arnold. So I'll be up there. My staff will be focusing here. So honestly, when I go on these little trips, it's kind of a break for me, and it's really nice.
So how do you ensure like the quality of the food, and like, do you have checks and things like that? Because you said it yourself, like the Nick Walkers of the world and these elite athletes, like everything has to be so dialed in and perfect. So what are some of the quality checks that you go through to ensure that your clients are getting what they want?
Yeah. So I make really thorough notes in my system as far as the competitor side and the, the health, just the lifestyle side too. If you're allergic to, I don't know, mushrooms, or you don't like green beans, there's a note in your little column there that says, don't give her green beans, or she's allergic to this, allergy to tree nuts. So I don't want to say that we treat the athletes special, or everybody gets treated very, very special when it comes to made to macro. But yeah, specifically with the competitors, when he's a week out from the Arnold, like I'm doing that food, or Alyssa and Lauren and Nick and Terrence, being, a week out of the Olympia, 2 or 3 weeks out, I'm doing that food. I'm going to make sure it's 100% what it's supposed to be. Seasoning, no seasoning, oils, no oils, how many pounds do they get? And then, I really love that my staff can come to me, with any questions. That's really important too. So we have a really good system in place as far as that goes. And then everything for the competitors is separated by what meat they're getting. So they're getting, turkey, but what kind of turkey they're getting? They're getting 99.1. Are they getting 93.7? Is it seasoned? Is it not seasoned? And then those notes are in there, in those sections. So it's pretty thorough. Did things slip by? 100%. Do we want it to? No, but it's very, very, very rare.
So how do you how do you like differ made to macros? Because now I get on Instagram and there's all kinds of fitness athletes with their meal prep companies sponsoring them or whatever, and there's all kinds of this stuff going on. It's kind of becoming bigger and bigger. How do you kind of separate yourself, or how have you separated yourself from everybody else, the competition, so to speak?
I feel like I am in a world of my own, and that people just don't know about me yet. And when they do know about me, or when they finally realize who I am and what I do, I feel like there's nobody's gonna touch me, because nobody wants to do what I do. It's hard. It's a lot of hard work, but I don't think I have any competition as far as that goes. Well, I know that sounds really cocky.
No, it doesn't. You're confident.
I'm confident.
Yeah.
That most of these athletes that are sponsored by whatever company it is, they're not eating half of it. They're tossing it. So it's, you're gonna have to go buy your own stuff to cook, or you could just pay me and I'll do what you actually need for your plan.
Right. So what is the difference though? That's what I want to know. What's the difference?
So like I said, I'm custom. If you need things without seasoning on them, my macros are going to be, 100% correct. My meal plans are going to be exactly what you need, not just what they send you. Like I said, we're macros based. So my macros aren't going to look like yours. So why would I just give you any old meal? That's not going to really help you towards your goal. Some of these people are giving you meal sizes that are like this big. It's like, of course you're going to lose weight. You're eating like 100 calories in that bowl. It's like 2 strips of chicken and a couple of vegetables. It's nothing. So I love that I have a really good mix of athletes that I work with. I have strong women. She eats a lot. She's a powerhouse. She's really strong. She's gorgeous. My friend Sarah out of St. Pete here, strong Sarah, and she's I believe she was in the Air Force as well. But she's just, her portion's gonna be different than, mine too. I'm a typical like bodybuilder, so I eat strictly what I'm told to eat if I want to reach this goal. She's eating for strength. She's going to eat a lot differently than me. So I feel like that's the true meaning of meal prep. Not just cook it yourself. So I'm different because I'm personalized, and I feel like we all have different goals, and those need to be hit regardless. So
100%. So how did you kind of get connected with some of the bigger names that you've listed off, these top level bodybuilders, top level fitness athletes,
sure.
Terrence Ruffin, Nick Walker? I mean, that doesn't usually just happen overnight. So how does that happen?
No. So I teamed up with PJ Braun and Blackstone Labs at the end of 2019. I just sent him an email. I was using Blackstone products, and he responded. I sent him a DM through Instagram. I was like, whatever. And then I told my sales rep that I go through to buy my supplements, hey, this is what I'm doing. So I just reached out to PJ. Maybe he'll text me back. Sure as shit, like 2 days later, he responded, and I sent him a shit ton of food, and he liked it. His other meal prep company wasn't working out, and we kind of just clicked, and started feeding some of his athletes. Last year I had a couple in the Olympia as well. and we kind of just been exposing me to this side of the industry. Not saying that I don't, feed CrossFitters and, like I said, the strong woman and, my lifestyle clients and whatever, maybe swimmers, whatever. It just, because I'm so personalized, it works out, hand in hand, that I could feed everybody in the bodybuilding industry because their diets are so specific. So I kind of just feel that a lot of these athletes just kind of fell into my hands. Last year I fed Guy Cisterino. He's on Bro Chat with Nick. Nick's like, this company isn't giving me what I need. So Guy's like, go see Alexis. And I fed him for his New York Pro all the way up until just shipped him some more food today to go to Columbus. And then everybody else kind of, I've been following. I like to select my athletes, does it have to be top of the line, big time, big names? No, it doesn't have to be. I see the potential in some people and I kind of just go with them and we fill it out. And if they, are doing a good job and they're, bringing me clients and they're liking my food, and we just write it out together, and that's how that works.
Excellent. What kind of culture are you kind of focusing on creating, or is that even something that you think about right now because you're kind of in the heat of growing this business? Is that something you think about?
I really want to say yes, because I feel like, especially everybody who kind of, works for me, we're all pretty much in the fitness world. The girls that I'm with, I have weightlifters and, I have a couple of bikini competitors that work with me because they get it. They get that using the food scale and making sure these portions are correct. So we all are kind of like, we're all just like girlfriends that, work together in there and we have a good time, and it's a really fun atmosphere. But as far as like my Made to Macro brand, I kind of want to just be a one-stop shop for everything. And I have a couple of different things in the works right now that I'm really looking forward to grow with my trademark when it gets registered, and kind of just blow this thing up. And I want to take those girls with me, and I want it to be like that. I want it to be like a family. I think that's important. And I want them to make money, and I want them to do good with, I want it to go to them. I want them to enjoy where they are and stick with it, especially in the kitchen industry. It's crazy. The turnover rates are ridiculous. I've been through a lot of employees, but this group seems to be really awesome, and I'm really blessed to have that. So as far as culture goes, that's kind of like what I want. I want that family type feel for Made to Macro, to where everybody's kind of helping each other. We're partnering up with this, small business because this and this, and I think that's important.
For sure. So how did 2020 and kind of all the craziness worldwide, but obviously here in the United States, how did that affect you? What were some of the challenges that you had to go through as a business owner, specifically in the food industry?
So as far as like getting clients, I reaped all the benefits of COVID. Nobody wanted to leave their house, so they were ordering their food, and I was happy to provide it. However, I had to raise prices because I couldn't find certain meats sometimes, or chicken breast doubled in price for a case. Cases come in 40 pounds of chicken, and I was paying like $56, $60 a case, to paying $88. And I kind of just saw it like keep increasing, 62, 64, and then all of a sudden some prices it's like $100 a case, $88 a case. It's crazy. Red meat was scarce for a while, and then it switched over to pork, which I like to do like once a week, like one menu item of pork. But Yeah, definitely the price increases were crazy. But as far as the clients, they were just coming to me.
That's great,
I
because
was like, come on.
it happened to everybody
Come
or
to
for
me.
everybody, right? So
Yeah,
that's
it was
cool.
I wasn't turning anybody away, that's for sure. And got it done.
Love it. Okay, I want to talk about kind of your own personal fitness a little bit. You said you're there in Tampa, Florida. You train out of MI40, which is Ben Pekulski's gym, correct?
Yes.
How is that environment? I've seen obviously the stuff on YouTube and social media. It looks like it's a crazy awesome gym, but what is it like for you to be in that environment around some of the top level athletes that train out of that gym?
It is amazing. I've met so many amazing people. It's just like sometimes I walk in there, I'm like, I'm here. That's kind of cool, you know. It's just a really cool gym. It's quiet. Nobody's I understand now I understand why these athletes go to this gym, because there's nobody up your butt, you know, the selfies and stuff like that. There's nobody in your way. If you need a machine, it's there. It's not going to be taken by 3 teenagers who are in front of you. And it's just a really unique experience, you know. It's very high end, and I really, really enjoy being there.
And it is a private facility, correct?
Correct. You have to have a code to get in.
Awesome. So have you ever competed yourself, or do you have any kind of aspirations to compete? Are you kind of looking to get into that side of things or not?
No, I just want to look good for my business, you know, in the face. I always say it, I can't be a fat ass and sell people healthy meals. I was a bikini competitor, believe it or not.
Okay.
I was
How did that go?
I was like the biggest girl on stage. Whatever. I got top 5. I'll take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was okay. I don't think my diet could be strict like that. I had to cut a lot of weight, and that took the fun out of it for me. So I still have a meal plan. I still work with a coach. I still have goals, you know. I feel like that's important to have, you know, personal goals like that, regardless of if you're going to compete or not. So I probably won't compete again, even though every time I go to a show, I'm like, I could do that. But no, I'm just so busy, and I just want to look good for me. I want to feel good. I want to feel sexy, you know, and that confidence that you get from, you know, seeing different things on your body just change over time, you know. There's not many 36-year-old moms that look, I hate saying like this, but look like me, you know. I'll take it.
I mean, it's kind of the triple. You've got the business, you've got the body, the looks, and then you got the family. So, you know, there's nothing much better than that. Now, talking about or touching on family, that's something else I respect and think it's awesome about you, Alexis, is that, you know, you have a couple kids. So just talk about that. Talk about balancing the family and now a growing business.
Sure. It's definitely difficult. My daughter now is at an age where she's like, Mommy, can you please get off the computer? And I'm like, and I know I need to get it done. So I'll just, you know, put it away, but then I'll be up till, you know, a little bit later, or I'll wake up at, you know, 4:30, start work before they wake up, which I like to do anyways. I like a couple hours in the morning by myself, you know, have my coffee, do what I need to do. I maybe got to do my, you know, fasted cardio or check my emails in peace, maybe watch a show. I think that's important to have some just like peace and quiet. But yeah, she definitely knows, you know, when I'm working too much. But it's hard, but it's doable. No excuses. You know, they're my priority at the end of the day. But this is, you know, my goal as well, to, you know, keep building this company, because I won't let it fail. it won't fail. And yeah, my son is he just turned 3 on August 1st, and he's like my mini me. He looks just like me. He looks just like my dad. And he's just absolutely amazing. He's in preschool, and he's a bruiser. He just beats the crap out of his sister all day long. The poor thing, she's just like, I mean, she gets him every once in a while, that's for sure, but she's a trooper.
So what would you say to moms out there? Maybe they're in a position, they're in a career or job that they don't want to be in, but they know they have to pay the bills, they have to provide for their family. But they have this idea, they have this dream, they have this, this burning inside of them. What do you say to them in terms of kind of going for that passion or going for that career or dream that they have?
Yeah, I say go for it. There's plenty of different ways. If financially, if you're hurting, there's tons of different ways for you to get funding. There's tons of different ways for you to make time for that. You just can't make an excuse. You just got to go do it, especially if it's a really good idea. Why not? Why not say, I did it, or I tried to do it, and then regret it later in life, and resent other people in your life, maybe because you didn't do it. So I say go for it. There's loans, there's grants for women everywhere. That's free money. Go apply for a grant. Maybe you have a person that you trust really well, and they maybe have some extra cash floating around. Tell them your idea, brainstorm. You just gotta do it.
You do. You got to start somewhere.
You have to.
Everybody starts somewhere, and like what is there to lose? Like, I mean, just you got to go for it. Like,
You gotta go for
put
it.
one foot in front of the other. If you got to stay up a little bit later, like you said, you do. If you got to work this career and do the side hustle, like, man, just like no regrets, right?
Yeah.
That's
I was driving around. I get this example all the time. Once the meals were done and packaged, like I was driving around with my daughter, making deliveries with her in the back, and I'm pregnant, so pregnant, I'm touching like the steering wheel and making deliveries 4 to 5 hours at a time, and getting home and doing what else I needed to do for the following week to keep the momentum with Made to Macro. Maybe doing a gym promo on Monday. I like to go like Monday nights because that's typically like the busier time at gyms. Monday and Thursdays I like to go, and I'll do my promos and I'll sample my food out, come home, they're already asleep. There's certain things that I feel that my kids are I don't think they're gonna remember me working like this hard, and like, because I feel like as far as the hands-on stuff, I won't be doing it as much. I'll just be the face and like the salesman, still be the CEO making all the decisions. But I'm doing this for them. This is their legacy, and this is really cool. And they know exactly what I do. They're like, oh, well, we're gonna go to the kitchen. That's mommy's Made to Macro sign. They know my logo. They know exactly what I do, and that is the coolest thing. So that makes me really proud, and I think that that's really cool.
Yeah, it is cool. We're going to kind of wrap things up here,
Sure.
Alexis. I do want to ask you, up to this point, from 2017, the birth of Made to Macros, up to 2021, where we're at right now in September. What do you feel like is the biggest lesson you've learned through being an entrepreneur, through having this business?
Don't be afraid to ask for advice or help from others. Don't think that you know it all. There's plenty of times, plenty of books I've read, plenty of people I've gone and talked to, like, what can I do to make, this better? Especially if you're feeling stressed out. I feel that some people don't do that, and then they just let it, let their business fail or let their idea fail. There's plenty of days where I would, call PJ on the phone and, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and how do I grow this thing? And, who better than him? He started his supplement company out the back of his car. So you know, go to my parents, my dad, shit, I call him every day. We talk every day, and I still ask him for advice, you know. I'm 36 years old. So I feel like, you know, getting as much advice, actually listening to that, implementing that advice, trying it out. I think that's huge. And that, I feel like that helped me.
Outside of PJ, has there been like an individual that that's been kind of a mentor through this entire process or not?
I don't think, not really. Not really. I would just say mostly PJ was a big, like I said, a big help, because he's already there. And that's kind of where I want to be, you know, one day. You know, he still busts his ass too. He's still on the phone all day too, you know, making decisions for Blackstone, but still, you know, that's kind of like where I want to be, as far as that goes. So I don't, not really. I wouldn't say that. No.
Okay. And so the end goal that I'm kind of gathering from you then is like, you kind of are on the outside of the business looking in, you're still the CEO, you're still kind of making the main decisions, but you're not maybe necessarily as involved in the day-to-day. Is that kind of what your future goal is with Made to Macro?
Yeah, I feel like that's any entrepreneur's goal, is to not be as hands-on, because then you're just, you know, a slave to your business, instead of, you know, enjoying it, making those decisions, helping, you know, your employees make more money and, you know, move up in your company. I would love to have that, you know, but if I'm still in the kitchen, you know, portioning this person's food, that means I'm not out there getting the clients. That means we're just gonna be like, I need to be here.
Got it. Okay. So Alexis, thank you very much for taking some time to share a little bit of your story and just kind of the birth and growth of Made to Macros. Are there any final words that you would like to share with the listeners? If so, please go ahead and share that. And then also, where can people connect with you? Where can people find more info on Made to Macros?
Sure. So tying back into the not giving up, just keep doing it. Just keep working through it. I even had a few weeks ago where I was just in a bad place mentally, and I wanted to literally break down and cry. You're going to have those weeks. You're going to want to quit. You're going to want to quit every single week. I've been like throwing in the towel every week, having your meltdowns, but just get yourself together, write a list. I think that's so important, and writing it down. Get your pen and paper out. Mind to paper is so important, and just write out, you know, maybe next steps or what you can do different to not make you feel the way you felt this week. You know, and kind of brainstorm, maybe reach out to, you know, somebody else, like I said, get some more advice, you know, and I think that's my advice for you guys. And as far as where to find me, go to madetomacro.com. That's the number 2. And it's really cool. Play around with the site. We have a macro calculator built in to our site. So if you don't know your macros, it's an Owens-based calculation. So it's going to find your BMR, and it'll spit out some numbers at the bottom, fat, carb, protein, and that'll give me kind of a feel for what you need per meal based on your goals, based on what you're currently doing, based on what you're currently eating, the amount of times you're eating throughout the day. And yeah, we have a bunch of fun stuff on our website that you can order. We got the meal packages. You could do bulk proteins now, which are most of my clients are loving. You can order anything by the pound. And our protein bars, of course, we have breakfast that you can add on, but our protein bars are really good. I brought a couple home today. I'm probably not supposed to eat those, but I promise I won't go do cardio after.
Okay.
I won't do it. I'm not going to do it. I got to pack. I haven't packed anything. I don't even know what shoes I'm going to bring.
You got to get prepared for the Arnold. You got to be all in for that, right?
I have to.
Right.
Can't go up there looking crazy.
No.
Homeless. I'm literally And it's cold up there too. So, and I'm a Florida girl, so I'm really screwed.
Yeah, it'll be, I mean, I'm here in Iowa. It's, you know, we're in the Midwest. I mean, this week out here, it's low to mid 70s. So I'm assuming it'll be that. Now you're down in Florida, so with the humidity, it probably is going to be cold for you, but should be pretty decent. Any predictions for the open men's Arnold this weekend?
You're kidding?
No, you're probably just going to say Nick Walker, right?
No, it's done. He's gonna win it.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, that's not a question.
Perfect. Okay,
Done.
so Alexis, thank you so much for taking some time to, again, like I said, come on the podcast, share a little bit of your insight and experience. Listeners, once again, thank you so much for tuning in to Behind the Muscle podcast. Two things I would just ask of all of you listeners, if you haven't done so already, go over to Behind the Muscle podcast on YouTube, subscribe to the podcast, and then also take Alexis's episode, share it on all of your social media stories, tag Alexis, tag Made to Macros, tag Behind the Muscle, so that we know people listen. People are gaining some value from the podcast. And then finally, I will leave you all with this. Remember, behind the muscle, there's always a story. We'll catch you guys later.
Thanks for